Hello there and welcome to the show. My name is Michael Zimanji. Now we are barely halfway through our basket full of goodies from the UK, and in this episode we are still camped there. But don't worry, we will also take you to DRC through Jambojet, the only airline with direct flights between Nairobi and Goma. But first, here is what we have in store.
I had no idea where to begin.
Finding your way to study abroad can be challenging. Find out how SIUK is assisting Kenyan students pursue further studies in the UK.
Education is the easiest way to access opportunities abroad. In a year, there are more than 2,000 students that are going in Kenya.
We have about 22,000 students studying with us, 25 each year from Kenya.
Also on the show, how Jambojet's Nairobi-Goma direct flights are boosting trade between Kenya and DRC.
One of the markets that is highly underserved is the Goma market.
We buy medical equipment from Nairobi.
With that out of the way, let's now start the show with Alex Chamwada in the UK.
20-year-old Jane Wangeshi Rukwaro is getting exposure that many young Kenyans could only dream of. She's barely 2 months old in the UK, pursuing an undergraduate degree in law at the University of Portsmouth in UK in south coast of England.
Life here is very different from how home is. There's a lot of sense of independency among every person that you see. You tend to see that back at home, how like traffic is 1 hour or 2 hours, you stay in traffic. Here, there's nothing like that because most of the people do walk. So that's something that I had to change my routine from.
Jane was born and brought up in Nairobi. She attended Rusinga schools for both her primary and secondary education. From a tender age, Jane always knew that studying abroad was in her future. She was assisted by SIUK to get this placement.
I had no idea where to begin, and SIUK made my path very smoothly. They gave us a breakdown of what is needed in our personal statements. Your CV, they helped us understand that your achievements are something that is of great value.
Jane's education is funded by the family.
A typical day, like I have a 9 a.m. class. So here our lectures or seminars are only 1 hour. I finish at around, let's say 11, come back home, prepare for the next seminar. There are about 20-25 students. So you tend to have this one-on-one teacher-student feel, unlike going to lectures. And that's what I loved about the University of Portsmouth.
Omar Mohammed is the director, SIUK Kenya, whose offices are at Madonna House in Westlands, Nairobi.
We hold the students' hand all the way from deciding the career to picking the right university, to submitting an application to that university, to getting a visa to go to that country, all the requirements that are there, and in between, make sure that everything is right, and also prepare the student in terms of accommodation. Make sure we're picking the accommodation, and after accommodation we also do the pre-departure session where we're warming up the student to make sure that some of the students have never traveled, make sure that they're aware of everything that is in and between traveling to a different country, and what are the regulations of this country, and so many other things that we go through the students.
Currently, SIUK Kenya sends 350 to 450 Kenyan students to institutions abroad every year. We met 19-year-old Derek Musau at the agency's offices as he was putting final touches to his application to study aeronautical engineering at the University of Leeds.
They first helped me settle, then choose me that the admission at Leeds. After the admission, I got the fee structure and I was able to apply. Then afterwards, I was able to be given a scholarship.
We give them the different opportunities that are available. You know, this university has a partial scholarship of this much. For example, this university will waive 600,000, this one will waive 500,000, 4,000 pounds, 5,000 pounds.
Most undergraduate degree courses in the UK take about 3 years, while most master's programs take 1 year. Now, let's give you a rough idea of the cost of education in the UK. You need the equivalent of 1.5 to 2 million Kenya shillings for tuition fees per year. Accommodation and upkeep in general could cost about 500,000 to 1 million shillings per year. A student is allowed to work for a maximum of 20 hours per week. That can help to supplement the cost of living, but not enough to enable one to cater for tuition fees for the entire study program. In general, one needs 2.5 to 3 million Kenya shillings every year for tuition and upkeep. But according to Omar, look at the value of education abroad and not just the cost.
There's a very successful man in the UK who has done amazing, the Kenyan billionaire in the US. He's done amazing. He's contributing back to Kakamega. He's building a hospital. He's doing amazing things. I know personally about some Australian students who have now partnered and are developing a property in Eldoret, a building. You understand? They've come together. So wale wazazi wa Eldoret who even sold the land at one point to educate their children have seen that the children have gone to Australia, they've studied, they've come back, and are now there's a huge return on investment. They're even buying more land and constructing and doing so much.
As of 2021, UK had about 600,000 international students, a majority of them hailing from member states of the European Union.
Any year, there are more than 2,000 students that are going in Kenya. This is from Kenya to UK.
SIUK has many partners that have contributed to making their services stand out. We visited Liverpool University in northwest England, where we met Kevin Richardson, who is in charge of international student services at the university.
We're a pathways programme, so essentially that means that students come to us before they start at the University of Liverpool, so it's really exciting. We get lots of students from all over the world, lots from the Middle East, lots from China and Japan, but of course lots from Africa as well. It's all about the teamwork in terms of how you make that initial application. When you make it to perhaps to an agent locally, we've got members of staff from all around the world that know the local markets and know how it works, and they will then tell you how much the course will cost and the length of that.
We also visited Teddy London, yet another university that is collaborating with SIUK. The university is known for engineering courses.
Higher education, quite rightly, is a very vibrant sector with many different provisions and catering for the professionals of the future. Engineering specifically, though, is not exiting enough engineers generally globally, and engineers are desperately needed to solve the global challenges of our time. And so really Teddy London has come about to create a new type of engineering degree for future talent into engineering and bring a more context-rich, project-based learning environment to those young talents to come and look into engineering. International students are key to Teddy London, and it's something we're so dedicated and really passionate about increasing. We are very keen for that, both for the perspectives that it brings, the global challenge it puts into context, but also to see these students return and really bring about this change that engineers can bring.
From London, we went to the University of York that is located in northern England. The university, which was started in 1963, has about 22,000 students currently. 6,000 of them are from outside the UK, from more than 150 countries.
So the university is a lovely parkland campus. It's spread over a large space just on the edge of the city of York.
Nick Skevington is the university's international recruitment manager.
We have a really large international population, including more than 150 from sub-Saharan Africa and about 25 each year from Kenya. For students studying in high school, if they are completing a Kenyan secondary school diploma, they would need to complete another program to prepare themselves for entry into our bachelor's program. So that would often be a foundation course either in Kenya or a foundation course here at the university with our partnership with Kaplan. But for students who've studied A-levels or the IB, they can come straight in and we look for strong grades in their school subjects there. For entry into a postgraduate degree, so a master's program, we would want a student to have completed a recognised bachelor's course and to have a good upper secondary class honours degree to come and study with us.
Nick, one of the most commonly asked questions is, are there opportunities for scholarships and how can one get one?
Yeah, absolutely. So the university has a wide range of scholarship programs. Some of those are our own opportunities and some of those are opportunities with other partner organisations. For our own 60th anniversary scholarships and Be Exceptional scholarships, those would be a discount of up to £10,000 on the tuition fee for year one of a student's study, and a student would apply for those once they have been offered admission, and it would be on the basis of their academic background and a short scholarship application. They can also work with partners like SIUK who can help them with that scholarship process and can advise on other funding opportunities as well.
Can one dare leave probably Kenya and come and assume they would work and raise money to fund the education?
Yeah, it's a good question. So when students are studying here, they can work for up to 20 hours per week on their student visa, and they can be paid for that work. They could work in a restaurant, they could work in a bar, they could work for the university. So there is that opportunity to have some extra funding as well. There are also chances to stay and work after a student has graduated. So many UK universities are now part of a post-study work visa option. Students can remain in the UK for 2 years after graduation and they can seek employment in any number of different fields. There are very few restrictions on what they can do, and that would be a full-time paying job when they come through to us.
Would you come without any fees and hope to work and pay fees?
No, so typically students would need to be able to afford and prove that they can afford at least the first 9 months of their study with us as part of the visa application. So it's not possible to think, well, I will just work and make it work week by week. They must have planned out those finances more carefully than that, I think. And we do recognise that that is a significant commitment for students. That's why we see many of them preferring the master's option, because it is a short 1-year program rather than the 3-year bachelor's degree.
The bottleneck usually is the bank statement, because at the end of the day you need to show that you can sustain yourself for the whole year and everything. So coming up with all the cash, liquidity is usually not the best thing in Kenya. People are always investing. So what is happening is that, once you go, you're paying fees, semester by semester. The university will come up with a payment plan. So we will help you to come up, we'll talk to the university to give you the payment plan where you can pay. But of course, for visa purposes, you need to show these funds are there.
Generally, it is easier to get a scholarship at master's level than undergraduate level. Some who go for masters are sponsored by their employers or partners in the fields that are related to their careers. SIUK is priding in not only helping Kenyan students get education opportunities abroad, but transforming lives in general from the point of socio-economic impact. Many Kenyans have studied in local institutions and excelled in life, but studying abroad has its advantages that complement education back home.
Many of our politicians, many of our leaders, many of our teachers, many of our lecturers, many of our parents, many of our siblings have all studied in the UK.
Thank you, Alex, for that story. Time now for a break, but when we return, we go to Goma City, DRC through Jambojet. Welcome back to the show. Now, did you know that Jambojet is the only airline with direct flights between Nairobi and Goma City in the DRC? Find out its impact on trade ties between the two countries in this report by Alex Chamwada.
Jambojet, a subsidiary of Kenya's national carrier Kenya Airways, has been on the Nairobi-Goma route since September 2021. Its entry into this market meant a lot. It's now faster and cheaper to travel between the two cities. The airline's chief executive officer, Karanja Ndegwa, says the 2-hour flight has opened up Goma to the world.
One reason that Jambo Jet exists is to especially go out to those markets that are highly underserved, or markets that are leisure, where a leisure traveler would easily want to go to. So when we looked at the region, we found one of the markets that is highly underserved is the Goma market. You find, for one reason or another, is that the eastern part of DRC trades more with the East African community more than Kinshasa because it is actually further. So with that, we found that we needed to make it easier to open up the Goma route to the community, because going to Goma from Nairobi, one had two options. One was either to travel via Addis Ababa or drive to Kigali and take a flight to Nairobi. So that used to take about, if you look, that would be 8 to 12 hours.
Jambojet uses the Dash 8 Q400 type of aircraft, which can accommodate up to 78 passengers.
Between September and now, we have carried 9,000 passengers. Yes, it had its challenges with the lockdowns and COVID restrictions. We had some months that were challenging, but for now, we are now between 50 and 55% loads.
The CEO says, by market standards, this is impressive, and plans are underway to introduce a fourth flight on the route. The airline is also doing well in cargo operations, which were introduced in February 2022.
Pre-pandemic, we were fully going for scheduled passenger travel, and we thought it's best if you start de-risking the business. And we had an asset here, which is the de Havilland Dash Q400, whereby every flight you have a space of about 1.2 tons that you are carrying empty. So we needed to take that advantage, use the existing assets that we have, and with that be able to generate much more. And with this, we have been able to pick up at least about a ton into Goma for each of the flights that we have. And so far, we have been able to do about 30 tons. Most of it comes from Nairobi into Goma. That is about 80%, but still not yet there from Goma to Nairobi, because that's about 20%.
And the timing couldn't be better. Jambojet's entry into DRC coincides with DRC joining the East African Community, which consists of Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. The move boosts the region's block market to 300 million. This opens up more business opportunities, according to Benedicto Momanyi, Jambojet sales manager, DRC.
The typical passengers we carry are mostly traders. Traders are our biggest customers. We have a lot of people who go to Nairobi to bring in merchandise to this place. You know, this place is known for expatriates. There are quite a number of expatriates who, like the UN staff, they go for R&R every 6 weeks. So there are some of the people who fly our flights either to Nairobi or to other destinations that they are flying to. There are quite a number of students, Congolese students, studying in Kenya. So those are some of the people we carry from this place. And finally, people who travel for medical reasons. And without forgetting our very own people traveling for tourism reasons in Mombasa, Ukunda, and Malindi Coast.
DRC is prime too for adventure.
There is huge potential to grow this place as a tourism potential. For those people who may have an opportunity to go even outside the city, Virunga National Park has animals which you can never see anywhere in the world. For example, the okapi, it's only found here. So that's a very huge potential to grow the domestic market in this particular place.
When we went to Goma, we found at least a number of Kenyans who've set up businesses. And one of the things that they really needed support was, how do I move my pharmaceutical products into Eastern DRC? And in there, we came in because for them, it used to take them about 6 days, 7 days to get cargo from Nairobi into Goma. And this has to be in a certain condition. So it becomes quite expensive under certain temperatures. So with our 2-hour flight, we're able to make it easier for them, cheaper, faster.
Major retired John Mwanzia, who owns 7 private hospitals in DRC, is one of the top Jambojet clients. The former Kenyan paratrooper worked in a UN peacekeeping mission in DRC from 2006 to 2007 before retiring to venture into business. He has employed 300 Congolese and 11 Kenyans.
Jambo Jet, I may say a big thank you to them because they have really assisted us. Because initially passing through Kigali, taking almost a whole day to get to Nairobi because we had to change flights. But here, we normally leave from here to Nairobi, we take less than 2 hours. And they also have cargo services, and that one is assisting a lot. All these Nairobi people, all these Kenyan guys, we normally use that particular jet to go on leave and all that kind of thing. And we also buy medicines from Nairobi. We buy medical equipments from Nairobi.
I've traveled with Jambo Jet 7 times. The first 2 times I went for leave. I have also traveled to take a patient to Nairobi for specialized care. I've traveled for meetings in Nairobi, so I've traveled quite a lot of times with Jambo Jet.
In all this, the relationship between governments of DRC and Kenya is key. Kenya's embassy is based in Kinshasa, the capital of DRC. In Goma City, a consulate was opened to take care of Eastern DRC due to geographical challenges. DRC is a vast country whose size is 4 times Kenya's size. Kinshasa is 2 hours behind Nairobi, while Goma is 1 hour behind, and much closer to the East African region. Moni Manyange, Kenya's acting consul general in Goma, says the 2 countries are now set to negotiate better protocols geared towards enhancing free movement of people and goods.
Last year, when President Kenyatta met President Tshisekedi in Kinshasa, we had a big bilateral agreement, a framework on a number of making it easy to staff, be it called share with Kenya Airways, the Congo Airways, be it the ultimate desire, even before the East African community came, to have visa-free travel between Kenya and DRC. It is something that was being negotiated.
Equity Bank is one of Kenya's corporates that have already established their presence in DRC. Manyange elaborates on the opportunities between the 2 countries.
The immense opportunities, not only for Kenya to tap into the rumba. The Congolese are interested in our genge music, Kenyan musician, be it Sauti Sol and all that. So that cross-fertilization of the 2 cultures. Those are new areas that we have never thought, have not been given sufficient thought on how do we unlock the potential in areas like that. How do we do, say, joint concerts between, say, Sauti Sol and Fally Ipupa. You could do 1 here in Goma, you could do 1 in Kenya. Besides, DRC joins East African community. French becomes one of the languages of the East African community. In Kenya wants, for example, the idea of making Nairobi as more cosmopolitan. You need more French speakers. And vice versa, for example, now as I turn to Kenya, there are opportunities for English teachers in Kenya who don't have opportunities there to come and teach in DRC, because DRC also, like the rest of the world, is turning more Anglophone. You have more desire for people to learn English. There are things like financial services, there are things like ICT, where Kenya has an edge. All those are opportunities, especially in exporting services to and from Kenya.
Thank you, Alex, for that report from Goma City in the DRC. And remember, before that, he flew us to the UK, where he showcased an education agency by the name SIUK and how they're creating opportunities for Kenyan students abroad. Well, that is all we had in store for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.